All right, we're back.
We are back. Wow, what a cool song.
Yeah,
I always forget how great that song is. Quick special thanks to Jared Gleason and the Gleason clan for all their musical, I guess really his. I don't know how musical the rest of the Gleasons are, but either way, Jared Gleason did a great job making up this and all of our theme musics to everything. But yeah, cool. It caught me off guard. I want to thank him. Anyway, so yeah, this is Twitching UpStream. This is our cool weekly show where me and Dylan, where we kind of get together and just rabble rouse and make up stuff. I forgot my script already. That's crazy. Anyway, what it was going to be is this week you are my dude from another brood, which I thought was
all right. Yeah,
that's not bad. You didn't like my bilingual one from last week very much.
Oh yeah,
but whatever, that's fine.
We're in America.
Don't start that Michael Colby stuff already. All right, so Twitching UpStream, like I said earlier, is a side project from Talking UpStream. They got us into really cool chat streams with some amazing people. That show, we have guests on and we interview other creatives about their process and what they do. And we love that show. We like meeting people. We're working on how to figure out what season 2 is about. But creating projects live with the help of our crew is one of our favorite things. So Twitching UpStream, it's a little bit different. We just create stuff earlier and we kind of pick those things and then we work on it. And we show people our process on why we do this and how we do this. And we also talk about other random stuff sometimes. So before we get into anything though, Dylan, my friend, how are you, sir?
I'm okay. I'm irritated with some things, but nothing relevant to this conversation.
Okay. Which I'm not going to take personally, which is always.
You're very relevant to this conversation, so it's not you. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, cool. Normally I have a bunch of nerd news that I like to chat with Dylan about and get his point of view, but there's not really a whole lot going on. Eternals just came out and it's good. It's fine. We're in between all shows, really. There's really nothing going on. Not much to talk about in the DC news or Star Wars news or MCU news. So I was thinking about the biggest, I don't know what made me think about this, but I was thinking about the biggest unanswered questions that are in sci-fi movie history, and I wanted to throw them at you, kind of speedball round, and maybe just give me what you think the answer to these unanswered questions are, if that's cool with you.
Of course.
I have 11.
Okay.
All right. Number 1, what do you think is inside the spaceship of Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Now, at the end, we see the ship. It's a cool ship.
Yeah.
Don't know what's inside of there.
Just a really big synthesizer and a whole bunch of music program graduates from Alien University.
Oh.
They play in that theme.
Just a bunch of music kids, like hacky sacking and playing electrical djembe.
You exhaust your audience back home, so you fly off to Earth and you impress the humans.
Yeah. Hey, that's a very good answer. I didn't expect that. And as always, if you have an answer to any of these questions, or later on in the conceptualization, is that a word?
Conceptualization, yeah.
Conceptualization. Whatever.
Say it however.
Just go ahead and comment along or ask us a question and see if Dylan knows the answer to it. All right, number 2. Are you a Star Trek fan? That's not the question. Yeah. What do you think? Guinan, Whoopi Goldberg's character.
Yes.
What is her past with Picard? Because there's a couple times where they show you that something happened with them, but they never explain it, and they don't really know who she is or what she's up with. Is that anything to you?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I like to think that they found a dead body together and they hid it.
Like on the train tracks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever space train tracks are in Star Trek.
Yeah. Space Trek. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3. Now this one I know you have an answer for. Why do the Jaegers have swords in Pacific Rim?
Because it's cool.
It's
'Cause
just
it's
cool?
cool.
It's just cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a holdover from a previous design where they didn't know that Jaeger blood caused whatever it causes.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you know what? Stacker likes the sword, so keep them in.
Yeah. Because they are cool looking. But
Yeah.
like, why? All right. Next one. Blade Runner. You know Blade Runner?
Yeah.
Is Deckard a replicant?
No.
Okay. Easy.
I don't subscribe to the Deckard as a replicant theory from like a story perspective.
Yeah.
I get it. And later in 2049 kind of... Oh, my internet window just stopped.
Oh, no. Are we still...
I don't know. Am I moving around on your window?
You're not moving around. You are now.
Okay. They heard Ridley Scott heard me talking about Blade Runner and
Yeah.
didn't like it. I don't think he's a replicant. I don't know particularly why I adhere to that idea.
Yeah.
But it didn't ever sit as the correct theory to me.
All right. That's fair. All right. Next. How did Maz Kanata get Luke's lightsaber?
Bad writing. Bad writing.
Literally the only answer.
So, no, the other answer is that's a good question for another time.
For another time.
For
Yep.
another time. And
Perfect.
that time is not now or in 2 movies.
Which all got delayed. Every Star Wars movie got delayed already.
Oh,
All right. Next one. Is Cobb still dreaming?
oh, from Inception.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
From Hobbs and Cobb. Fast and Furious presents
Hobbs and Furious, Hobbs and
Cobbs
Cobbs,
and Draw.
Cobbs and drawing.
Calvin
No.
and Cobbs.
Mhm, yeah.
No.
Okay.
I don't know if I particularly think that needs to be answered because he is either not dreaming, in which case it makes it feel like he's been separated from his kids for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Or not even 6 months, because kids at that age would grow to look very different from the last time he saw it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty clearly the same footage. And if he is dreaming, we see the top start to wobble, which means that he is accepting his reality regardless. Anyway.
Well, since we're talking about that, do
Yes.
you follow this? Do you subscribe to the theory that the top is actually not his totem?
I was just about to get to that.
Yeah.
Because it used to be his wife's totem.
Mm-hmm.
And he cautions the maze person. I can't remember who's in that movie.
Elliot Page?
That's it.
Mhm.
Questions or warns them not to let anyone else touch their totem.
Right.
But he's using his wife's totem. So it doesn't.
Now, but some people think that it's his wedding ring that is his
Sure.
totem. And in some scenes he doesn't wear one, in some scenes he does. It doesn't matter.
I think that speaks to Chris Nolan's ability as a filmmaker to ask a bunch of questions, provide a bunch of clues, and then it doesn't matter. He does it way better than J.J. Abrams. When J.J. Abrams does it, it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
Because he just asks a bunch of questions, doesn't support any particular theory, and then all of a sudden people are just like, but if you do this. Whereas Nolan, there's enough evidence on either side to present your argument in a way where he could be like, that holds water.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, next one. Does anyone else survive the crash in Snowpiercer?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
That's fair.
I think Snowpiercer is better if you see that life can continue, but the Snowpiercer, that is done. Everybody on that except her dies, and she probably dies later after like a bear eats her.
Yeah.
Or she trips and falls down that ice bridge.
Who does Sonny Birch work for?
Remind me the source.
Sonny Birch is the guy from Hateful Eight that's in Ant-Man 2.
Walter Goggins?
Yep.
Oh.
So he is...
in Hateful Eight, who does he work for?
I don't know.
Wait, who's Sonny Birch?
In Ant-Man 2.
Oh. I only saw Ant-Man 2 once. Remind me who that is. He steals stuff.
Yeah.
He steals stuff from Ant-Man.
He's trying to steal the tiny building. He steals Ant-Man's stuff. He wants the shrinking technology for his boss. They never say who his boss is, even though there's other people like Justin Hammer and other, I guess even AIM. But who do you? I guess it doesn't matter since you don't even know this.
Who does number 2 work for?
Who does number 2 work for?
Who does Ant-Man 2 work for?
All right.
Because it didn't really work for me because you can see how much I remember to that movie.
That's true.
He works Thanos,
Yeah,
or one of Mr. Thomas Anos. It's not the best disguise, but you do what you can when you're not from Earth.
that's true. Yeah, it's is that Thanos when he goes to the Matrix?
Yeah,
Thomas.
Mr. Anos.
Mr. Anos. Okay. What happened to Dennis Nedry's stolen embryos?
Didn't he drop them in the river when he gets spit on by the Dilophosaurus?
Oh, so it's just in the
Does
mud.
he actually?
No,
No,
I mean,
he
they-
hands them off to the guy at
No,
the
they-
restaurant.
No, he hands them he shows him that
Aerosol.
the weird canister.
Yeah,
But he drops them like in the mud, kind of. But
I thought he got them off the island. Doesn't he hand them off to some guy in that restaurant?
I don't think so.
To get out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. The embryos get out, and that's how Jurassic World got started.
All right.
Stolen dinosaur IP. Don't do it.
Now, being that Infinity War is your number one movie of all time, I have a question for you that was never answered also.
Okay.
Did anyone on Xandar survive? Now, we just see Thanos with the stone that was on Xandar. He apparently just got it, decimated stuff. We don't know. What do you think?
Infinity War by the Coen brothers with Oscar Isaac and Justin Timberlake.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see anyone from Xandar in that. It could be the cat, like the cat from the Marvelous Miss Carol Danvers, Captain Marvelous.
Yeah. For being a comedian, she should smile more.
Yeah. Isn't Captain Marvelous the one about when Aragorn tries to raise the kids in a bus?
No.
I think that's Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's the search for Mr. Captain.
The search for Mr. Fantastic
Yeah.
Fox.
Yeah.
And we're all over the place. No, did anyone from Xandar survive? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't know. We never see Glenn Close or John C. Reilly ever again.
Correct.
Hardly saw them in that movie. I don't know.
Okay.
Not. You need a sacrificial lamb.
I'm just
so
asking.
Thanos actually does something aside from just spend his weekend.
The whole
picking
planet?
up gemstones.
It's a lamb planet? A lamblet?
Sure.
All right, last one I got on here. How do the 3 seashells work? I need to know this.
One of them blocks your nose so you can't smell anything.
Mhm.
Use the other two to just kind of pinch it out.
It's the old pinch and pull. So they're like tiny hole diggers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, who'd have thought? All right. Well, that was that was Dylan's answers to unanswered questions in sci-fi movies that only Zach thinks about. So there's
Good
that.
questions.
That's better than quick questions. Yeah. I guess they were still quick questions.
Pleasure to have in class.
Thanks. I'll give you your apple later, but just to prove you're an asshole. All right, so let's get on to what this show actually is. And like always, if you like the story that we're making, if you like the way that we're doing it, if you like anything about this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let us know. Show us that we have some people's attention out there, because that's, I guess, it's not really why we do it, but it's a reason to do it. Yeah. So anyway, I'm let Dylan take over, talk about what this show is and where we are and what we're doing with the rest of this episode.
Yeah, so generally what we do on Twitching UpStream, whereas Talking UpStream is just a general kind of focused, well, not even focused, an ill-focused conversation on creativity, where we kind of do a broad outline of a specific story idea. Twitching UpStream is a lot more targeted. We take a specific idea from an episode of Talking UpStream. Today is Sleeper Agent, from episode 35 of Talking UpStream with Drayton Alan, sci-fi author of Custodians of the Cosmos. Check that out. But we talked about an idea in which there's a future society where people get chips put into their heads, which allows them to deliver packages in their sleep, much like Uber Eats or any sort of Amazon delivery thing. One day, a guy wakes up, realizes he has delivered something in his own house that is incriminating. That was the broad strokes of what we came up with. Worked out kind of this like crime land, like I keep saying crime land. Is that specific to LA?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay,
Probably.
It's not LA. It's crime world. Gang world.
Kilmington.
Gang world. Kilmington.
That's where I'm from.
Kilmington, Delaware.
Yep.
Where this guy gets involved in some criminal shenanigans and winds up delivering a bomb package to a crime boss. It's all pretty cool. And so let me pop up the document here if you're watching Here's our development document for Sleeper Agent so far. We've got some broad ideas and the original outline up top, and then we go into Act 1. We've started kind of doing into Act 2, and we kind of tried to figure out where the end might be going. So what we've done so far for the storyline for Sleeper Agent. Set in about the 2070s, the Sahara Corporation runs a gig courier service which allows people to deliver packages while they're sleeping. Sahara Oasis is where people drop stuff off. It's where they deliver to and from, etc., etc. Main character is talking to a friend who's trying to rebuild their life after getting a bad credit score or social credit, whatever you want to call it. They're too tired to focus on getting a new job. They're trapped. Every time they go home, they go through the fire escape because the hall is full of weirdos. We exposit about dangerous courier jobs like mugging, but the mob kind of interferes and stuff like that. Main character does some deliveries. They get a large package to go to their destination, and they have trouble delivering it, and they get messed with. They knock the helmet off, but the boots force them to go home because they have a safety routine, subroutine, whatever. He leaves the package at the apartment, runs back, gets his now defaced helmet and boots. He goes back home, and the package has been marked as delivered, which it's not. He has a bad delivery charge on his account, which is massive and will seriously interfere with his ability to repay all of the stuff he's trying to repay. He goes back to the Oasis to try and drop it off for redelivery, but decides that he's not going to eat this charge. So he tries to cut and run, takes the package, and ultimately decides against opening it because it's clear that it comes from someone powerful. This takes place in like a megacity style environment. Maybe the entire East Coast has been urbanized, and so a lot of it is walkable, but you still have to go a pretty far distance. The person ultimately he recognizes is a crime leader in some sort of organized syndicate. He goes to the address on the package and tries to deliver to that place, but nobody's home. When he kind of peeks in the window because he wants to make sure this gets delivered, he notices that it is clearly like a safe house or a drop house. It's effectively empty with just a facade being lived in with some gear in there. While there, he runs into a hacked agent, knocks his helmet off, and when he looks in and hands it back, he gets a note of the serial number. The hacked agent leaves. He contacts his buddy who works at Sahara as an IT person to find out where that hacked agent goes based on the serial number. He's trying to figure out, where can I follow this person in order to drop this package off? Because I am not going to eat this charge. Finds out this other guy goes off-grid at the same block for 2 hours every third day of the week, or it's some pattern that he can identify and follow up on. Goes to that city block, he encounters a bunch of weirdos, and then he notices a person with their helmet display has been set to needs service. Not a real message. So he's like, all right, this is the person I need to follow. Sees the package handoff with a criminal courier. They follow them to criminal headquarters, and then fake delivers his way in the door because he puts his own helmet on, and anytime he's asked about, why aren't you displaying your route? And it's like, messed up display. It needs service. Bumps into the criminal courier in a service corridor and tries to force them to take the package. There's a little scuffle, which is similar to They Live, in which one is like, sign for the package. Give me the package first. And they keep trying to force each other's hands. And eventually, he just kind of KOs the guy and gets him to scan his hand and mark his delivery. But it's not the authorized recipient. So he realizes he has to take it all the way up to the headquarters. He goes up to the penthouse, delivers the guy for the guy. It's a teddy. He opens it up. It's a teddy bear. We see the sick kid come out and be like, Dad, where's my teddy bear? That's my kid voice.
Dad, you never spend time with me.
You never spend
Guess
time
what? I got you.
I'll spend time with you once I'm done with the big score. You'll be fine. You're definitely going to survive the next few minutes. The main character goes down into the hall, gets out of there. Here's an explosion up top because it turns out the teddy bear was a bomb, and gets the hell out of Dodge. Go home through the window, penalized for delivering with defaced gear, etc. Everything kind of rain. When it rains, it pours, and it's always raining. They go get their gear clean, grab a treat, go home, and you see their place has been ransacked, and they walk in and they see someone sitting in their apartment facing the door, reciting the lines for some sort of clever one-liner once he would have entered the front door. Of course, they don't know that he enters through the window.
Right.
The main character grabs something and KOs the assassin, puts him in an auto cab with the most recent crime, with the crime boss's lair as a drop-off point, which eventually delivers the idea that this main character is a super skilled combatant because he didn't even see him coming. Break into Act, and then we have Act 2, Broad Strokes, which I think we're going to kind of widen today.
Okay.
But we've got Act 2 primarily as the crime boss has hacked couriers hunting down the main character. But then the IT person kind of reveals himself, his buddy reveals himself as the person who's been helping him and gives him a break, blocks him from their network. We learn, or eventually, a procession of assassins attempts to capture the main character. Main character doesn't want the IT person to take over. We give him the upgrade option where, I'll take over your body and you can, and you'll fight through me. And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. I really just have no interest in that. Can we just end this? And it's like, well, no. We can't because the crime boss, my kid died due to their negligence, so I intentionally sent a bomb teddy bear to the crime boss's headquarters because that is a proportionate response. So the main character's like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm leaving town.
Yep.
But unfortunately, at that point, the crime boss has located the main character, puts them on airplane mode, which means that all of their accounts are frozen, their assets are frozen, etc., etc. Eventually, they get captured. We get the reveal that the crime boss is actually alive and that the IT child targeting plan was a whole thing. And the final, the reveal is that the disfigured crime boss has no limbs and is being carried around like Uncle Jack from Arrested Development by someone who's wearing the agent helmet.
Yep.
And that was Act 2.
Yeah.
And we have the option of doing a broad strokes Act 3 and then widening both of them, or we can go back through Act 2 and just kind of hit that today.
Well, I think that at least the way that my brain works, is right when I get to about this point, I start thinking of what am I getting to? Mm-hmm. Like what, and that was when we were writing Create Your Own Podventure. I kind of learned that it was like, okay, I have to get to these so many endings, and that would tell me how much of a story I got to fill in. Yeah. So I think let's go over Act 3 and just do some broad strokes.
Yeah. So Act 2 is primarily the main character getting chased around. And kind of not zany, but he's not a fighter, so he has to deal with all these highly skilled fighters coming after him. Yeah, and then we end, you end Act 2 with a character in the worst moment. He's been captured by the crime boss. Crime boss comes in and probably delivers that talk of like, I know you didn't do it responsible. I know you're not personally responsible for this, but you did do it. My kid's dead, so I'm gonna, make it quick on you, mm-hmm. and then go after your buddy. Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you say is an appropriate ending for this sleeper agent?
I think I had felt that it would be most appropriate if he ends back on his feet, mm-hmm. without his own goals being realized, where he has this almost like it's a sidetrack. Or we had kind of an ending.
Well, there was a couple. We had an idea that he would end up getting a bunch of money,
yes,
to get himself back on top. There's also the possibility that he takes over as a crime boss because there's so many sleeper agents and whatever. I don't necessarily like that style of ending. I do want to see him end on top, but no goals realized. I like that. Okay. No, he didn't really accomplish anything. Yeah. He just stumbled into everything, and then at the end is going to just kind of stumble into some money. Yeah. So let's make that the ultimate ending. Now the crime boss, obviously, there's a little bit of sympathy there because their child is now gone, mm-hmm. And they are disfigured. So I would assume that means that we need to make this crime boss a very bad person. That way we don't really care what happens.
Sure.
So just got to put that in the characterization. We also need a couple more like characters to have an arc. So the IT person, they have a beginning, right? They have mm-hmm. a reason why they're doing all this. Now, what would you say is an appropriate circle back / completion for that character?
So we decided,
excuse him.
Yeah, we decided that
we lost a viewer on that.
We did, I know. I'll stop yawning from now on.
Thank you.
Another one's going to come in about 5 minutes. No, I believe we decided to make the IT person be the one who's responsible for the initial like bomb plan.
Yeah.
So this is the realization of a long time of planning for this character. So if this character was in their own movie, that would have been a triumphant kind of like fulfillment of their goal.
Well, possibly.
I'm saying only because like they're not the main character of this movie.
Right, but even if they were the character of their own movie, I don't necessarily think that blowing up a child, although revenge, I wouldn't think that's the end goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be like, okay, I know that the mob person murdered the IT person's child / family. Totally get that. We already have that in there. But I would assume that the IT person would want more revenge.
Sure. Okay.
Than just the child, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we got to figure out what that IT person's original motivation, or I guess original plan was. Then we also have to make them meet, right? The IT person and sleeper agent.
IT agent is not the same person that he was speaking to at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not.
It is.
It is the same person. So we have to have them have another conversation, round it back.
Yeah, okay. Maybe even meet.
Yeah. Well, they do. They meet at the beginning in the diner. When start with main character talking to a friend about trying to get a new job to rebuild social credit.
Oh, and they get them the job at this place.
Is that the same person as IT person?
Yeah, because he works there, so you're like, I can get you a job.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, I forgot about that.
No, that's fine.
So we got to make them meet again, and that's going to circle back around. And this meeting will have the realization of it's the IT person that blew up the child, right?
Yeah.
So we also got to figure out how that information is going to be handled by sleeper agent, and then what they do at the end. I would assume. Now, let's say, hypothetically, that IT person wants the cliche movie ending where they would become the crime boss.
IT person wants to take over?
Yeah.
Cool.
Because they have nothing else to live for. They understand how to work the sleeper agency. They're going to
They want to establish their own. They were trying to make a power vacuum.
Yeah.
They were hoping the bomb would kill both of them.
Right.
And then he would move in on the power vacuum.
Yeah. Okay. And he was actually even setting up his friend. Ooh, what about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I assumed as much. Yeah.
Well, I didn't.
Oh, no? Okay, cool.
How'd you assume that?
I assumed it was like when we decided that the two of them are the same person and they're ultimately the one who suggests the main character gets a job. I was like, oh, you have your new entrant into the job who doesn't know a lot of things, who is willing to take these sort of deliveries that people might shy away from.
Yeah. I like that. Cool. All right. So, and then during this, I guess during that last conversation is when IT person was like, I don't even know how you got out of that alive. And I'm assuming that they had to say something that would link sleeper agent with the knowledge of like, why do you know that? You know, like you're not supposed to know that or something. Or how'd you know that was a bomb in there?
Yeah.
So, something would click that IT agent or IT person and sleeper agent now both know the goals.
Yeah.
And do you think that IT person would be like, look, you're a pretty badass assassin. Badassin? No, that doesn't work. You're a pretty bad assassin. Badass assassin. Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. You should work for me. You should be my enforcer.
And main character's like, where in the world did you get this idea that I can fight? You've known me for 15. Like, treats it with like incredulity.
And it's like, look, you took out 3 of, this crime boss person's biggest hitmen.
Mm-hmm.
You've evaded the rest of them for a couple days.
Yeah.
Like, you obviously have skills. And he's like, I can pay you 7-figure salary. Whatever's a big deal.
You want your way out of what you're doing. Occasional job here. You're not going to have to work for much. You'll be able to afford a nicer place. Yeah. You won't be. It doesn't resolve his credit issues, But it's like you won't be beholden to them.
Yeah, you won't need it because you'll have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, Sleeper Agent is not going to be cool with this.
No.
And they're probably going to... Somehow they got to get the money off of IT person.
Yeah.
IT person has a lot of money because they've been like funneling it from, you know...
They do the Office Space thing on deliveries.
Yeah. It's the
a portion of every delivery charge gets funneled into a separate account.
Yep, it's like one small fraction of Dogecoin goes into IT person's digital coin purse. Yeah, so they got money. Now we have to figure out how to get rid of Crime Boss, I guess, for good. We have to figure out
to get main character out of the Crime Boss's clutches at the start of the act.
Very true.
Yeah.
That could be IT person's doing.
Oh yeah.
Like they could have hacked the carrying sleeper agent.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is weird because now the crime boss is just being escorted around by somebody that they don't want. And they're like, why are you going down the stairs? What do not walk to that police car. And then the sleeper agent just puts the crime boss in the back of a squad car.
Yeah.
Or something, I don't know.
Well, we need that's a good way to get rid of the crime boss, but we also need somehow for the main character to get out of it, probably either on their own, like on their own agency, or somehow the main character needs to get out of there.
Yeah.
In general.
So they could either put on a sleeper agent, a sleeper costume, and then tell IT person like, do what you got to do to get me out of here.
And that's the one time he's okay with
it.
And
it's the only time that you're gonna have access to this.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of not knowing what happens. Like he puts the helmet on.
The helmet or something?
No, I say he puts the helmet on. He goes to sleep. He wakes up and he's outside of the place. There's blood, you know, and he's like, "Oh my god, what did I do? What did I do?" And he looks down. He has like a broken arm and like a knife is sticking out of him.
Yeah.
And like a bullet hole in the foot. And he's like, "Look, we need to meet." And maybe that's when... Could that be the realization that this is the same person at as the beginning?
Yeah, when he shows up to the diner and he's like,
he's like, "Oh, what are you doing here? I'm meeting."
He intentionally tries not to pay. He's like, "I'm here to meet. I can't meet you. I can't drag you into this."
Yeah.
So it's like he ignores him, and then eventually he's just like, he drops some hint.
Yeah, or like he makes it pop on the sleeper thing. He's like, "You know it was me."
Or just on the menu board behind. He's like looking at the menu tablet or something, and like one of the entrees changes from like protein powder and I don't know,
pea protein
fiber strains, into come sit at my booth, dumbass. Like,
yeah, I like that. And so now IT person is looking at sleeper agent like, this is my only friend. This is my number 2. We're going to take over all criminal activities.
Yeah.
I have a family again. I'm going to rebuild. You're just hanging out in Yawn City, aren't you?
What's that?
I said, you're just hanging out in Yawn City, aren't you?
I know, it's bad.
Now, sleeper agent, not going to be cool with this.
No.
Wants money, doesn't want to deal with any of this. How does that happen?
Well, we need some sort of third act like thing to happen, you know, like the third act is generally like the main character coming back into their own, and it's all uphill from the like lowest point.
Yeah. So I guess we would need sleeper agent to refuse IT person's plan.
Yep.
We would need IT person to kind of be like, "Look, if you're not with me, you're against me. Don't make me do this." And maybe like IT person has these people that are like they're bodyguards, but they're holding the sleeper agent like costume. So it's like, "Look, if you don't like this, I'm just going to have them put this on you." Maybe it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about the idea of sleeper agent eventually putting the helmet on IT person and then controlling them.
Okay.
and then making them
do something
in some weird way, like just walk into the ocean or
walk
just
into traffic.
I was gonna say walk into traffic.
Yeah.
So I think that could be the ending. We got to figure out how to make Sleeper Agent get the money, like end off well. And I think that's really for broad strokes. I think that's it. We just got to figure out like not the conversation between Sleeper Agent and IT person, but how Sleeper Agent can get, the goods.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? How do we get that?
I'm trying to think. Yeah.
Once again, if you're watching this, if you just tuned in, we are trying to create a new story. We do this weekly, and we like doing this.
Yeah.
This episode, we are still working on something that we're calling Sleeper Agent. You can see all of this on our YouTube channel or everywhere else. But if you like what we're doing, or if you have any comments or questions, please just throw them in the chat, and we would love to address them or add them to our story. We're trying to finish up Act 3 as far as broad strokes go. And I think that
I think these broad strokes work. I think the reversal of getting the helmet onto the IT person is a good broad stroke.
Yeah, we would just need to figure out a way for the monetary transition.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't really know, because Sleeper Agent could be like, give me your passwords, or if it's like a bio scan, like once the helmet comes on, he cuts his hand and his eyeball off. Or
I'm wondering if it should. He winds up with he should wind up with the account information for all of the skimmed money.
Okay,
right?
That's fair, sure.
Because you can't really if we transfer it between bank accounts or whatever in that era, it's like, well, why don't they just transfer back? Does nobody notice? So I think you should wind up with information that allows them to access it.
Okay.
Just to keep it a little more internally consistent, I suppose.
Yeah. So I would assume that maybe IT person is someone that does not trust digital information, and maybe they actually just keep a hard copy in their actual wallet.
They keep like a hard drive or an external or something with
maybe
all the
just
hashes on it.
Piece of paper with just handwriting.
Oh, man.
And it's like, I don't want this to be anywhere digital.
If he's so good at hacking, that would be an interesting, pulls out his wallet or whatever it is, and there's a slip of paper in there with password $123 $.
Yeah, like they're password, capitalized password. Like I was thinking that there could be like either Sleeper Agents like, give me all the money, or blah 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 blah. And once IT person's like dead or whatever, he's like, I'll just take whatever's in your wallet, and he just goes to take whatever like cash he has, and he's like, what is this? And there's just like a picture of like just like a
it's their kid.
Huh?
It's their picture of their dead kid.
A picture of their dead kid.
Well, he's got the IT person carries a picture of the dead kid, and that's on the back of that is written the password for the account.
Yeah. All right, that's fine. Yeah. The account number and password. Yeah.
I think we should do another sequence here where the IT person does manage to force the helmet onto main character and get them to another location.
Mm-hmm.
So you think like, oh, it's going to go bad, and then somehow they reverse it at that other location.
Okay.
So it doesn't all occur at the diner.
Okay, that's fair. What do you think is a cool other location that makes sense?
Either IT person's apartment or the Oasis, the drop-off point. And we could have a little climactic showdown with a whole bunch of like people doing the gig exchanges in the Oasis, and they're like weaving between people who are walking robotically in lines and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's cool.
And then you have the option
takes them right back to the mob house.
And then you have the option of doing the fake out where the Batman Begins thing, where it's like he thinks it's the person with a defaced helmet, but it turns out the main character swapped it, and then it's behind him with an and then slides on an IT guy and activates it or something.
I think that's cool. I like all that.
Gets MC gets MC into a helmet and back to the Oasis where they scuffle.
It's a scuffle.
Yeah. And walks them into traffic. MC sleeper helmet, disguised, another drone, as MC, like in Batman Begins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he slices all the guys on the shoulder, and it's like,
Oh, absolutely. I
Henry
totally get that.
Ducard.
Yeah. Ducard.
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon Ducard.
Qui-Gon Ducard.
Okay.
All right. So that's Act 3, I think.
Yeah, I think
get
that's
some money and kind of back where he started.
Yeah. Do you think that's a good way to end? Like, is that a good place for Sleeper Agent to end? Like, he still has debt. He still has stuff. Now he just has a lot of money.
We might need to resolve. I think we should probably resolve the crime gang thing, or at least mention, like, maybe now that the crime boss has been kind of forcibly put into police custody, everything is being run by the person that he has a scuffle with to try and get him to sign. Maybe that person is like a major figure.
It would be pretty interesting if during that exit, the scene where, IT person, if what they made Sleeper Agent do was murder the entire crime organization. Everybody.
Yeah.
Like, we could do that.
All right, sure.
And I think that's an easy way to get rid of that.
And that's a good way of making sure that IT person is not sympathetic.
Yeah, exactly.
Kills everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, don't you even need like these people? It's like, do you know how many homeless people I could put this helmet on?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't need those guys.
Yeah.
They cost money. Yeah. So IT person is now just broken. But they weren't good before.
Yeah.
Because they were skimming money before.
Right.
And that's why I forget why we had it written that the crime bosses, like, why they went after. It might have just been a random attack or something, right?
Went after what?
Why IT person's child is passed?
It was the kid was collateral damage that was never addressed during like some sort of crime thing.
So it could be that later on we find out that the crime boss found out that somebody was skimming money off of his stuff.
For that first attack?
Yeah. Like
the background incident?
We could find out that information later on.
Sure.
During like when the crime boss is like blah 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 blah, right before the crime boss goes out, there could be that reveal of information of like, the only reason that I blew up that family was because he was stealing millions of dollars from all these, sleeper agent delivery people.
Yeah. Because the crime boss is also kind of skimming, and he's like, yeah, I found out he was muscling in on what I was doing.
Well, he's just a crime boss. He was like, he was hacking sleeper agents to just deliver guns and stuff. And the IT person was just taking money from the crime boss, who, was doing bad stuff. So,
all right.
Crime boss is bad, does bad stuff. IT person is bad, does bad stuff. Sleeper agent, not great, not bad. Ends on a high note, but still needs a job.
Yeah.
But has money.
Yeah.
That is from the crime boss, which now no longer exists.
No, there's a power vacuum, and we're not going to address that.
No. Why would we? Gadzooks. That's not what we're here for. That'll be part 2. All right. So what do you want to get done with the last little bit of the episode we have?
I think we do need to expand Act 2 a little bit. If we look at these notes, it's a little scant. So
Act 1 ends where?
So Act 1 ends with main character leaving the crime boss lair after the explosion, going back to his place, finding out that someone is waiting for him and dispatching that person.
Cool. All right. So now Act 2 needs to kind of be, it's that bit of action scene, a little bit John Wick. Mm-hmm. We have just straight up escaping, but very haphazard.
Quirky assassin squads.
What?
Quirky assassin squads.
Quirky assassin squads, and like the Slumdog Millionaire style of getting out of everything. Yeah. It's like, I just happen to do this one thing that I know.
Bathtub full of money. Is that from Slumdog Millionaire?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure that's in there.
Where?
It's in one of the flashbacks.
Oh, one of the bad guys? Yeah.
I think you're
right.
I don't know. I'll look it up. Anyway.
His brother had a bathtub full of money?
It's been a long time since I watched that.
That's a good movie. You should check it out. So we have a sleeper agent, and they're gonna probably get rid of what you think? 3 or 4 assassin.
It's his friend, the gangster.
Yeah, the bad guy.
Yes.
Do Do you think that like we should show kind of 3/4 attempts on his life before he gets to where he's going?
So we've got, let's see, we've got the crime boss hacking couriers to get him down,
Mm-hmm.
and the IT person helping him out.
Yep.
Yeah. And then non-sleeper agent assassins.
Oh, just
and then
regular.
After the sleeper agents don't, he sends real like people who have their own agency to do it.
Yeah.
Because he's like, all right, we got to take this seriously.
Yeah, because I guess like so I can kind of see like so one sleeper agent comes in and a main character's like, IT person, you need to help me. And he's like, I'm doing what I can. Just watch out. They're coming from the left, right?
Yeah.
And then we have main character like fighting stupidly, but he wins. Then we have maybe 2 more sleeper agents, maybe / a lot of sleeper agents. And right before they start attacking, IT person had hacked them and they all just stop. So it looks like a weird scene where there's a bunch of people like stabbing.
Are ready to go.
Yeah. And he has like, he just kind of like moves like around them to like get away.
I think,
and that's when the crime boss starts sending just real.
Yeah. But I think, like, what does he do immediately after he finds and dispatches the guy in his apartment?
He leaves the apartment.
Cool.
Yeah.
To go where?
So
is he on the run? Does he know that they're coming after him?
I guess, okay, so not at that point. But I do like the idea of, remember we talked about how the next assassin would find the number 1 assassin dead in the house and be like, oh, this is a big deal. So we have to have him leaving.
Yeah.
Now, I guess he's leaving because he sees another assassin coming.
It's that soon? If they send the number 1 assassin after him, do they send a second guy that close afterwards?
Maybe he's like a lookout or a driver or just somebody who's like adjacent and he hears something. Like he hears like a gunshot and he comes in and he goes, oh, that wasn't that long. He's like, wait a minute. The best assassin is dead?
Yeah.
What? and main character is running out the back, and he is talking to IT person, I guess like a Bluetooth kind of situation. Yeah. And IT person's like, so I touched in with the GPS, and it looks like you have people at sleeper agents at a rate of speed they're not normally walking at, coming directly at you. And so there's the evasion of the mob, and then there's a couple fights.
Yeah.
And then that's when IT person finally hacks all the people, stops it. Then you get the real fighters coming in, the real heavy hitters from the crime people.
Where does the main character go from their apartment? Where are they running to? At a certain point, they should be like, I need to lay low somewhere.
Yeah, it's probably a diner.
Goes to the diner?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have a lot of scenes or settings. So the diner makes sense. Like it's a public place that he can just kind of phase into nothing. But one of the real people, well, I guess we have to get linked to the main character being captured.
Well, right. So he goes to the diner,
and
he has like a heart-to-heart with one of the rougher, salt-of-the-earth employees who works there or something. Because you got to have your calm moment where you have a conversation with someone. And then it's like, oh, what you said someone was looking for you? Well, they look like they're looking for someone. And out of the window, you see like some rough-looking people who are not sleeper agents going. And it's like, these are the assassins that are getting sent after him.
That, or it could be the person that he confides in.
Is everybody he confides in is working for the bad guy?
Not everybody.
Who's not?
But everybody else.
IT.
Character. IT's not working for the bad guy. He just is another bad guy.
I suppose not working for the bad guy, but is involved in this plot. Yeah,
I mean, it's a bad world.
Everybody's involved in organized crime of some sort.
Everybody, just randomly the people in this story. He like goes in here and he's like, oh, where's my favorite server, Phil?
I suppose that makes sense for why the IT person always recommends this is the place they meet.
Yeah, he's staking stuff out. he's staking out on a stakeout.
Diner friend alerts bad guys to MC's location.
Or it's just like the one cook there. Like he's like talking to his friend who works there, and then one person just like sees him and is like, blah, and he's like, sleeper agent's like, not you too. Yeah, and then he passes out, and then he wakes up in in the crime lair.
So then we've got a procession of assassins trying to capture the main character.
Mhm.
This is where the IT person first offers to take over the body and fight for him. He's
Yep.
like, no, don't. So then he evades them. Yeah.
Evades who?
The assassins. Evades defeats.
Well, he gets captured, right?
Not yet. He gets
says-
airplane mode. He gets airplane moded first.
It says 4 lines up. Oh, possession of assassins. Procession.
Tries to capture.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Then airplane mode, because now they know who he is for sure.
Yeah.
MC gets captured. Crime boss reveals IT. Yeah. I'm okay with all that. Yeah, he's got to get out of there, man. He's got to go to San Francisco.
Yeah, and then crime boss puts him on airplane mode.
Mhm.
Which freezes
Greases
all his assets and prevents him from using all his digital ID stuff, locking him out of the world.
Yep.
Eventually, IT person reconnects him.
Yeah.
How? Like, I'm not a fan of him being put on airplane mode and then the IT person is just like, oh, I got through to you. I think in some way, maybe the main character should let the IT person know what's happened. Like he goes to the Oasis and like uses an emergency communication.
Yeah.
In some way.
Or main character or IT person maybe gives him a different identity because he has the identity of our sleeper agents. Maybe he can put him in like a fake sleeper agency mode so that he can kind of get into certain areas. Also, maybe he just like steals a car. Like he does it real analog style. You know, like he has to get away with what he can.
Yeah.
And IT person's like, I don't know what to do. I can either set you up with a new identification. I can't take airplane mode off. I can give you somebody else's ID, or I can just give you a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he wouldn't then.
No, he wouldn't. I like the idea that he creates a duplicate entry for him in the register or something.
Yeah, he searches like the face or fingerprint, and it's like this is the closest one to his fingerprints, and then changes some stuff to give him a new identity.
I like the idea of him using an emergency employee like access line.
Yeah,
like a hardwired to reach IT person and tell them, and then that gives him an opportunity to we have a driving scene where he's evading the assassins through the future city. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, and then if you go to a certain place and just plug your headset in, it'll let you just have a hardwired conversation to IT people.
It's an emergency Oasis access line or something.
I think that's cool.
Yeah. How does he get captured?
How does he get captured?
Last question.
It turns out that the stolen identification was the crime boss's drug addict younger brother. I have no idea. I was trying to think of a way that the crime boss could find out this, and if it were, but that doesn't. It doesn't really jive. Maybe because if he puts him in airplane mode, he would get flagged if his name gets put in. Well, he has a different identification.
He needs to trip up somehow.
Yeah, maybe he goes to do something, and instead of like a regular fingerprint or whatever, it's like a blood test. And then that flags him. I don't like that very much.
He does something because he's not on airplane mode. What if he tries to withdraw cash or some sort of credit onto his personal device, and the crime boss put out like an alert where it's like anytime he's on airplane mode, so anytime he accesses it, I want to be alerted to it.
Either that, or all right, let's just say that main character is in airplane mode for a while, right?
Yep.
And he doesn't know what to do. And he's doing things analog, and he's like, look, IT person, you're good at computers. Can you just fix this? And IT person's like, clack, 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 clack. I don't see airplane mode here. I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, look, I'll prove it to you. And he goes to withdraw money, and it works. But it's because the crime boss has turned airplane mode off for a little bit just to catch his location.
Okay, yeah, it's like yeah.
Like he only puts airplane mode off to be able to turn it off, or the other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And main character goes to withdraw cash or something, and realizes airplane mode isn't turned on after all.
Yep.
The crime boss deactivated it without him noticing.
Yeah,
so
and
he could find his location.
Yeah, and when he like finally just reaches out to IT person to help out, he's like, I don't see any of that. Like, I don't know why you would say that. So now he just has his location there, and he just gets caught.
He gets caught while on the line with the IT person, so that way the crime boss knows for sure that they are affiliated, and he's like, and that's why he's willing to not just be like, you're just a pawn, it's not your fault. Now he's like, you're obviously in concert with this guy who's been causing me trouble.
Yeah. I like that.
Cool.
So that's when we get the reveal of the disfigured crime boss, and that's great. That's such a cool place to end. Yeah, I think this story is going really well, and I'm pretty excited to see how we turn out with Act 3, which will most likely be next week. So next Tuesday we will wrap up Sleeper Agent, and we'll probably reveal what the next thing we're going to work on. If you want to hear our voice more, especially Dylan's this week, Friday on the Real Boys, we'll be going over Rubber.
I rewatched it last night.
What a cool movie.
I like it.
What a weird movie. It's so hard to describe that movie because most people are like, it's about no, it's not. It's about a movie. So if you want to hear most likely Dylan and Michael Colby talking about Rubber, hopefully anybody else shows up. I'll pop in for a sec. And then on Monday, we'll be talking about Chris Harvey's #1 favorite film called Instant Family. Starring Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne. And
the St. Bernard.
And a dog. So it might actually be kind of good.
It's not a great sign.
Or it's cute. Who knows? But either way, you can find us on Real Boys. You can always see older episodes of Talking UpStream on our YouTube channel, whatever. You can see all of our stuff on SomeNobodies.com because we are Some Nobodies. And, if you want to help us out, you want to make sure that we have a little bit of a push to keep going and keep making weird stuff, we have a Patreon also where some people would like to give us motivation to keep moving because that's why we're doing this. We're just trying to make up cool stories that people want to hear or see. So you can always go to patreon.com/Some Nobodies if you would like to help us out, such as Sarah Tkachuk and Tony Sheck, our East Coast friends. We have, obviously Scott Curtis with Behind the Bits. You got Jeff Dwoskin over there with his Crossing Streams on the Jeff Dwoskin Show live from Detroit. Whatever. Michael Colby's doing some great stuff, so please go check him out. And I think that's all the plugs that I'm going to give today, except for Create Your Own Podventure. That is a beautiful thing that Dylan wrote, and I definitely promote that. So go for that. Dylan, my friend, do you have any words for anybody?
I'm putting enough words down for National Novel Writing Month. I have none to share with you people.
Do you have any Vorpal words for our fans?
Oh, sure. Go to Vorpal Words on Twitter, where I'm posting daily updates on National Novel Writing Month.
Hell yeah.
And Instagram, where I occasionally post things, usually pictures of my roommate's cat.
That's true.
She's very cute.
Yeah, Rogue is a cute cat. Either way, we appreciate it. We appreciate you. I have been Zach. He has been Dylan. You've been great. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Drink some water.
Yeah.